What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloud Slayer podcast. If you're a returning viewer, hey, welcome back. If you're brand new, please consider hitting that follow button, please. I do appreciate it. Um, Today, I'm just sharing a little bit of what we had discussions about and kind of like plans. We're still formulating a plan to have the a ghost adventure type thing, except with just us, Um, we're trying to find out locations, kind of local, and what's the closest one to us. Like Duluth, Minnesota, or something like that. But they also had some like mental institution near us, so we're trying to work out some plans now. Um, Mostly talking about like equipment and stuff like that, like getting like voice recorders and stuff like that, and what we currently have to do that. So we definitely have the manpower, and we just got to put forth the work and hope everybody enjoys this little bit of conversation to build up what we're trying to strive to build here. So this is what the boys from the Gravy Now. I'm sure we'll post them like cross platforms on each one of our things, maybe. We'll see. We'll see, right? The future holds different plans for us sometimes, and we just got to swing with it. But love those guys. Peace, and have a good night. Here goes the audio from that. So, without further ado, sorry about that, guys. Have a good night.
Told me that, so making me
But they weren't violent deaths, they just fucking
Just some bad like accidents or what?
cardiac arrest. People's dying in their sleep and shit.
Yeah. That's crazy. Well, at the hotel, you said?
Yeah.
No murders or anything like that?
Not in that one. We
found
did
out
have
that-
some fucking pretty crazy ass fights and shit there though.
Right.
I found out that fucking road though, that I thought it was like an insane asylum, but I don't know if it was. But all it said was the building burnt down. They're like glad it was burnt down, but it was on fucking 5th Street and on El Rancho Road. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. It's well, El Rancho, right? So heading out towards the high school.
Yeah. Before the train tracks.
Yeah, right on the right hand side of the road. I used to party in that house way back in the day.
Was it a house? I thought it was like an institution or something.
No, it was a house.
And it's haunted?
It was a college house.
Oh, that's what it was.
They used to rent out to these fucking college kids out there. There were some fucking banging parties out there. And what it was you had so long to get into the gates, and then they shut and locked the gates so the cops couldn't get in.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's cool.
So you had underage drinking and crazy shit, but it was private property. Cops couldn't go on there without like a warrant or anything.
Yeah, or if like somebody
Let
called on
them in,
noises.
like
or
the
something.
landlord or.
Yeah.
And it was so far out of the way, because all the way around that, dude, it's swampland.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much all that shit out there was swampy.
Just have some fucking ravers.
There were some fucking crazy ass parties, I tell you that.
Yeah.
We were nuts.
My fucking buddy burned that shit down with a cigarette.
Really?
Wow, where are these places at to go camp?
Oh, shit.
Minnesota or what?
Mm-hmm. A bunch of places.
Some of them are like down in the cities, though, huh?
Some are in the
Towards it?
Well, a couple of them are in the cities. You got like the Schmidt Brewery,
Hmm.
the old Schmidt Brewery. That place is supposedly haunted. That had over 14 deaths over the time that it was there.
We're also looking at places like outdoors and shit.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty fucking
There's
cool.
one where there was a big mine collapse. It's a trail out there. They got Dead Man's Bog. I think that's where was that at?
I can't remember.
No.
Wasn't there some shit on the Indian Trail?
Yeah, and then they don't, or it's like an island or whatever, and people are like chasing people off. You're ghost hunters and shit. It sounds like.
Really?
So, as I know, a lot of natives are always like, "Don't fuck with them," but there's speculation that it could be like KKK members and shit like that. So I don't
Where was
know. I'll have to look it up, but it was like some native island or some shit. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll show you when we get back to our desk and stuff like that. But it's like,
So it was good.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be disappointing? You get out there looking for ghosts, and all of a sudden it's just a bunch of fucking whiteys.
I expect a ghost, but not these kind of ghosts.
Well, you were right, Travis. They are completely white.
Yeah.
I didn't think their heads would be so pointy.
Oh, man. Golden cone head attack. What the fuck? Yeah, but we'll have to figure out like what kind of recorders we have and stuff like that too. Because you got one too, right? Because you did it for the stuff that was happening to you at the trailer and shit?
I was just off my indoor cameras.
Just indoor cameras.
So like that was picking up fucking sound like somebody was trying to talk through it, and then all the orbs, and then the fucking we threw the pan off and knocked that cup in the sink.
Mm-hmm. Shit.
But otherwise, like bring some fucking some of my kid toys too.
Mm-hmm.
So my fucking daughter's got like this little laptop. I call her spirit box. So you leave that fucker out in the middle of the night and start going off at random times.
Mm-hmm. That's creepy.
Oh,
as shit, man.
But like if we bring that 4K camera that you guys got like a 256 micro SD card in the mail, so
I've got a
shit on that memory.
couple of micro SDs that Kayla used.
I was going to order a 2 terabyte one too, because it's like $11 online.
Well, I
So
know.
Yeah, I don't know.
that's good. Yeah, but I'm worried about like battery juice and shit like that. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, I could bring my laptop and then I could hook up my webcam, my typical webcam for streams and stuff, and put that as like the central location we can come back to or something like that.
Well, that battery bank, it's like in this plastic case. It's got a shoulder harness for it.
Yep.
It's just meant to be like put someplace.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like a regular car battery. Like a, what do you call it? What kind do you put in the boats and shit? They call those.
The certain kind of battery?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
The square one?
That's a square one. It's like a battery, but what do they call it? Something.
Like one of those jumpers or something?
Deep cycle.
Deep cycle? Okay.
They'll hold the charge longer, but they're.
Okay. Yeah, you said it was your dad in your dad's fish house too, right?
Well, it's not in there anymore because Dad's got 2 generators. We took it out.
Okay. So, all right. That'd be pretty good. Especially if like places don't have like fucking electricity and shit.
Yeah, that thing would keep the lights on in the fish house for 2 days.
I was gonna say, because if we found a place with some electricity too, we could just bring a laptop and an Ableton, and then have a fucking condenser mic, and then turn that fucker all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can just go back and look at the wavelengths, but keep it in a separate room.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Because then Dad's got that recorder, that handheld one.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if we all, because we're talking about like branching all 4 of us out, like how would we record that just straight from our phones, you know, like if it's in a building or some shit like that?
It's going to look like...
Or we all get like little voice recorders or something and have our own talks in those rooms or separated and shit like that.
I'll be down with that.
Fuck yeah.
It's going to look like Blair Witch Project.
Snot balls going on. Oh man.
You see me on there like this?
Be like that
Were
one.
you scared? No, I was shitting. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize the camera was still on.
That one spit off where he gets like raped by the ghost or something.
Oh,
The Marlon or the Wayne brothers.
Wayne brothers.
Oh, man.
was
Hilarious.
that Haunted House 2 or Haunted House,
Yeah,
whatever the hell it was.
I was like, what the hell's... They always do some weird stuff like
It
that.
was like that paranormal activity thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. It's funny. Funnier than
It would be
shit.
fun though, wire up like 4 or 5 different cameras.
Mm.
And even, I wonder if my dad's still got one of those. Even put up, because we could find some cheap game cams too.
Mm-hmm.
Hang up around this, see if we pick anything up, like crossing game cams.
Yeah, but the hard part would be like communicating with the people to let us do that too, I guess.
That's true.
You're probably like the best talker with that stuff, though. You're always like convincing people in the shit.
Yeah, dude, you can sell used condoms.
I am.
Dude.
Told a girl one time, no, this is still good. I just have to turn it inside out. Bitch had a
Just
baby.
shake it.
Wasn't
Bitch
mine.
had
It wasn't mine. Oh, no, it's good for 2 uses.
2 years. Inside out, buddy. Oh, man.
No, I'm thinking about how cool this is. When I sit down, I'm going to actually do a little bit more research on, like, paranormal activity, like, equipment.
Right.
So, because
Well, I was just listening in that recent Joe Rogan one. These kids are doing it, and they do like little things that send out like a dome of energy, and they can pick it up and stuff like that. Like was it like EMF or something like that?
electromagnetic frequencies.
Yeah, or field, whichever they decide to call it.
Or,
Frequencies or some shit like that too. Matt stinks.
But I'm going to look that up. But it said one. You know what old ghost hunters used to use?
What's that?
Flour.
Flour. Oh, like just throw it on the ground and they make.
Yep, they would throw it like in a room. They'd powder up a room,
Mhm.
and they'd leave, and then they'd come back the next day and see if there was any
markings.
disturbances in it.
Mm-hmm. They can tell if it's aggressive or some shit.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, we'll figure it out, boys.
Fuck yeah.
Should
Yeah.
we call the new guy that owns Skywalker Ranch? See if we can get out there.
Good try.
Fucking my one of my buddies I know, he knows that bald dude.
That works here or what?
No, he's a fucking paranormal dude.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Dave
Well,
Schrader.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows him.
There's also another group in Minnesota that got pretty famous after they did a big Sasquatch hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Call people like that, get into a group, see if we can go out and stay the night in some of these areas.
Well, this is what my buddy is. He's a fucking Bigfoot hunter.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a buddy that did that too a few times.
I could do some weird shit on his field, dude. Like, I was tripping fucking balls and mushrooms, dude. And I kept swearing there's a dog man outside of his window, but I think I was just really high.
There's a podcast right now where people tell their stories. This
Yeah.
one lady is convinced. She's like, this place I was in, she goes, we had 3 families of Bigfoots that lived, and they would play ball. Like, she'd leave toys outside for them, and she'd look out the window, and they'd
Yeah.
be playing out in the yard. The fuck?
Wouldn't they be big and heavy as fuck?
Well, yeah. She's like, sometimes they'd hide in the bushes, and when she'd pull into the garage, they'd look at her, make sure it was her, and then they'd go off. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then she said,
Was she on drugs?
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like, it's kind of funny listening to it.
Yeah.
And the guy that was interviewing her was like, well, how come you didn't tell anyone? Well, geez, I just really didn't want any of them to get hurt, so, you know. And now she's in like her 70s or something.
Yeah.
Talk to your boy Eli, dude. He probably fucking got some spots.
He does.
Butt spots.
Dude, when I worked at Northwest Tire, he walked in all creepy. He's like, hey, believe in like Bigfoots and stuff. Like, if I show you something, would you be,
I'm keeping my pants on.
No, but he brought in like this video recording of like the woods and then like these screaming noises in the background. Those sound like wolves or something. No, my brother, he saw Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, he's riding his motorcycle and saw him and blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
And then I'm like, is this the same one that's like getting locked up for meth all the time that just married the other? Yeah, this is believable.
Yeah, that's him. That's fucked up. Peanut butter and Sam Squanch.
Cheese.
Combos.
Yeah. I don't know. What's your ideas on those, Matt? Doing that stuff? 'Cause you got one recorder, right? So.
I got a little recorder.
And how much are those run for?
Cheap.
Pretty cheap, yeah.
Fucking cheap.
Where you spend like fucking $2,000 on them.
Well, that's that too, because they're all over them. Some are the fancy as fuck with them dual like outboard fuckers on them.
Yeah.
Like I just got a budget one.
Well, how much is that?
There's like $18 on it.
Oh, that ain't too bad.
And
No.
it came with some cool shit on it too.
Yeah, some weird fucking some like lawyer or some shit talking to himself. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we were talking about like EMFs and stuff like that too. I wonder how much those freakers are.
See, well, I have none for those, and we was looking up ghost boxes and shit like that too, and they're all kind of all over the place. But
Better off just getting a radio.
we was thinking of a sack of batteries and a fucking radio,
Mm-hmm.
because you're trying to recreate the same scenario. Like people's cameras always go dead because they're draining the batteries. But if you have a sack of batteries, you got enough energy. You know what I mean? Like some CD batteries, you can take the used batteries from here,
Mm.
just put them somewhere,
Right.
and then you got.
And all the spirit boxes, all that does is just serve for fucking radio stations.
So, and there again, all you need is just an assembly of words that whatever can pull the energy from and form their own shit. So you just put some white noise, some static in the radio,
Mm-hmm.
and it can manipulate that, especially using the power that we're going to give it.
Gotcha.
I mean, these are all hunches, right?
Do we
It's
got
all
radio?
theory.
Just
Yeah.
steal one from Jack's office.
Jackson, steal it.
Yep.
Dude, that shit was on last night.
Uh-huh.
He leaves it on sometimes.
Oh man, that shit got me tripped out.
He does. I go in there, turn it off, or else I just leave it on.
I could have swore I went by his office and the light was off and there was no radio, and I went back later and the fucking light was on.
And the radio was
The
on.
back light, not the one by the
Mhm.
door, and the radio was on, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it could have been. I only seen it with the radio on, and then it wasn't on.
I don't know, the most I've seen is everybody where you guys sit.
Also, I got a theory on ghosts and fucking eyelids. Like, people are always like, oh, why has it got to be in a dark place? Yada yada to see ghosts. Like, you think if they're dead, they'd be patrolling in the daylight. Well, I think that ghosts' eyelids are opaque, so they can't close their eyes. So it's always bright to them. That's why they kind of linger in dark places, because they got no eyelids. Basically, everything's transparent.
I just heard that world's opposite of our world. So it's like daylight here is night over there.
Right,
and
could be that too.
night over here, day over there, and
But I'm
shit.
trying to bring like some soft lights, some off colors, like a little soft light that has like white and blue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, different spectrums, UV spectrums.
Mm-hmm.
Looking into that shit.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I'll-
I get all
I'll-
riled up.
I can throw on some recorders if they're only $18. Especially if we got to branch out, like walk room to room separate, and then record our own stuff and get
I
noises from
honestly
there.
think that our phone would work just as good unless you're already using it for, video or whatever. But I have that little microphone. You just leave that set up for ambience.
Like I said, I could bring my face cam that I use for streaming and use that for like sit in like a home, like I don't know, living room or some shit, wherever we go, and just have that like as the base, and we
I have
can
that
walk
little-
out and do stuff too.
I have a little
so.
digital, but it's got a pretty big SD card.
Mhm.
I can run probably almost 2 hours of video on that, and I know the battery would be fine.
Mhm.
Look at that, just use it for still fucking shots too with the flash.
Static shots, yep, because it's got the flash. Shit'll pop off, and then you can go back and look through your digitals and.
Yeah, and like GoPro, if we got enough memory and then enough charge or whatever, like we charge it and unplug it. The most time we got is probably like 50 something minutes to like 59 minutes or whatever. So about an
Always
hour.
Get them battery packs too.
Yeah. That's the thing too. Just have a bunch like on hand or something. But I'll probably have to just try to invest in
I'm a
that.
firm believer in a few things. Like, the spirits need energy. I'm a firm believer in the fucking 3 o'clock witching hour.
Mhm.
I've been waking up at fucking 3 o'clock in the morning for about 15 fucking years, and I'm sick of that shit.
Mhm.
Weird shit that happens. Like, I think there's a few standards that ghost hunters follow, and I think there's something to it.
Mhm.
So it's like I said, we bring some sort of external juice, some power, like any of those battery packs. Like, I've got a couple of those charger packs now that came with like my vest,
Yep.
shit like that. We just bring some backup shit, some backup batteries, so we got plenty of power. So that way, if something is drawing from it, some soft lights, some bright lights.
It'll play off like the emotions that we generate while we're there too. You know what I mean? So.
Amazingly, I'm sure, because I'm gonna be scared as fuck.
Fuck, I won't feel brave as hell with more people there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, with the crew, I'll be ballsy, but that's the shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We spread out like one on one, and we go throughout.
And
And
see, our eyes just get big as fuck.
Well, then all of a sudden, I'm like,
like I'm going over there.
Just get one of them balls that shoot off the different electrics. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's just that stem. and you
Electric
touch
signals
it,
and stuff.
Then all that fucking goes to your finger wherever
oh
you touch
yeah,
it.
yeah, that purple thing in the
Within
glass
a certain
with the
radius?
electric. That little electric thing looks like you've seen something.
How much one of those figures?
I used to have them at like Spencer Gifts all the time.
Yeah.
Hot Topic.
Right.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen them, but
I
don't
get
know
them
where you get
online
them
for like
anymore.
$20 and just bring a bunch of batteries. Just use it for like a session.
I think
And
if
see
you just look
something
around your
touches
house
it.
and like you probably got both y'all got some weird kid toys that I bet.
That's
would
what I was
work.
just telling him. I was like, we got a fucking laptop. I call it their spirit box because
Yep.
they only get drawn to that laptop.
Shit like that. I'm sure we can find some household stuff that spirits could interact with.
yeah.
Then we'll just sacrifice Eric if you go in rooms by
Sacrifice.
himself, too.
I think the
You
coolest
see
thing
him have a
is-
conversation with her. It's
The
like,
coolest
fuck
thing
that
would
dude
be,
talking
like,
to. Just
conducting our own experiments, like with all our different backgrounds, shit that we see. Bring our own little travel pack of ghost hunter shit and see what we can all come with, with our own ideas. And, maybe this guy's gonna bring some sage because he's white, and you're gonna bring some juleps because you're Korean.
I don't know why I wouldn't bring siege.
We all know why you're racist.
Natives bring the sage, man.
Just so you know. I just didn't want to stereotype and be like, you're bringing it, because then you'd be like, what the fuck, what's the name?
But,
But I think it'd be a good collection of our own stuff.
oh, yeah, for
I
sure.
have hunches, I have suspicions about ghosts in the spirit world. You probably, from your education, your native
Mhm.
background, you have stories and things that you believe.
Absolutely.
This guy's seen some shit, so I know you believe some things.
Absolutely.
You just need to find something around